Hello, this is Lani from Broken SeaShell Stampin, and today I'm going to feature the Fright Night Cling Set stamp that I just got. I have the die cuts here. I'm going to show you a trick with the webbing that I came up with, because one thing I really liked about this set was these spiderweb die cuts. But then I was bummed because I didn't have a mask for it. So I'm going to create a mask. Basically, it'll look a lot like this. It's just a piece of scratch paper that I die cut them out and then just taped them back on. The nice thing about the tape is it helps the blending too. So sit with me here and I'm going to show you how I did that today. At least somewhat. I'm going to try a little bit different method to see if it works better. So I'm going to get some just scratch red paper and I'm going to cut this to 6 inches because that's the size of the embosser or the die cut machine. I could make a smaller one. Let me see if this will fit on the mini. It's just too big for the mini. So we'll go ahead and use the big shot. Whoop. And I just dropped a bunch of embellishments onto the floor. And I will pick that up later. I haven't been on in a while. It's just been hot and hard to get to crafting in my office. We've been doing lots of things for the summer, so I've not been home. As I drop everything behind here, good thing you can't see. So what we're going to do, I'm cutting it down to the 6 inches, and that's just to give myself an easy fit inside the machine. So then we're going to take the die cuts. Now, the only reason I did it at that angle is because I was just testing out to see if it would work. And it really does. So this is the end result here. You can see that. It gives that spider web texture with the blending brushes. So that's what we're gonna accomplish today. So turn it over. Actually, it doesn't matter. What I'm gonna do is, let's see, try it this way. No. What I'm going to do when I go through the cut machine is kind of stop right around this moment right here to see if they'll stay. Otherwise, I'll show you. You know what? I'm just going to show you what happens when you just run it through the die cut. And then we'll work on that other method later. So I'm going to go ahead and put this through the die cut machine. I use some washi tape just to keep it down. I'll run it through. I have the old one, so it's not easy to move around, which is why I don't move it to my camera. Otherwise, I would show you the die cut process, which is why I like to show it when it's on the mini. Move that. And I have a magic mat that I was gifted, so I'm still using this. So there's that one. That. Okay, so you throw away your little pieces. And as you can see, there's just a little thin line where the die cut was at. I reuse my washi tape all until I actually try to, when I use it, I also kind of dirty it up. Like there's a trick with adhesives and stuff, like when you're trying to put something on kind of like post-it notes are too sticky or you don't want it to be very sticky. Of course, there is the tool. I don't have the tool for this. But you just run, like, set it on like a piece of your clothing, like just tap it against your shirt and pull it up, that it gets a little bit dirty, so to speak, and that way it doesn't stick so bad. So I use that with the washi tape that I use to keep things secured on my paper, because I find it rips it if I don't. So then what we're going to do is just put these back in. And they fit. Just gotta fit them. And I just use regular Scotch tape or invisible tape, and then just put it on the edge to kind of just hold it in place while I'm getting the other pieces down. So it's actually a little too. Make sure it gets all the way. There you go. It's like putting a puzzle back together. There's that one. And since this is a mask, you don't need to worry about the tape on the other side, because that way you, like I said, it kind of helps with the blending because it lets the ink kind of move around back onto the brush and onto your paper. So there's those. And then now I'm just going to tape the rest of this just to keep it secured, so it doesn't move when you use your blending brush. At first, I thought that this stuff in the middle would be really, that little piece of tape came up, make sure it goes in. I thought this place in the part in the middle would come up, but it really didn't. You know, you just do it delicately. And then you've got a nice spider web mask to put as a background element when you make your own papers or images. Okay, I missed this tiny little corner here. So I'm going to use the edge of the tape. Alright, and now you see we've got a spiderweb mask to use on our cards. So I will be right back. I will show you what we're going to do with this one. It's just some regular plain basic white paper. Okay, so here we are with a I just cut out a piece of 6x6 piece of cardstock, the basic white, and now trying to figure out what color. So I did red on this other one because it was making a red card, but let's try, because spider webs are pretty much, they don't have any color because they're white. So to put color to them, you're really kind of doing the opposite. I mean, we're doing the negative part of this web, so it really could be any color because the white is going to be in the background. Let's just do a Halloween color that I like to use. I'm going to put this all the way to the side. I'm going to go old school and do some Orchid Oasis because it's kind of a purpley color, and then we'll do some orange too. Don't have Timid Tiger yet, but let's try to find my blending brush for purple. Here we go. So just take your blending brush. Now, I kind of liked the thicker part of the web being right here, so I didn't really tap off, but if you wanted to, you could tap off. But I'm just going to start right here on this piece of Scotch tape and then just start going over into my spider web. And you just hold it down. It doesn't move too much because you've got all this extra space to hold it down. So I'm gonna start here again and then just go around and around. So this is just kind of your own way of making DSP, and I like to do that. I think it's fun. Ready? Here we go. Ha! Voila! Spider web. Let's try this side here. We'll do this corner. So I'm gonna offset it just a little. What I was trying to do is try to match the spider web to the edge, but then I don't want it to. So let's just do the whole edge like I did that side. Make sure I get that, hold it down. Start here. One of the things you have to be careful with masks is getting your fingers with the ink. So if you want to take a tissue or something to wipe up on the Scotch tape before you change colors, you can do that. So there we go with the other spider web. Let's go ahead and turn it around and let's do the corner of this one. So I'm just going to do, yeah, I'll just do the whole top corner. All right, get some more. Let's see, is that in the image? I'll move this up a little bit. All right, start here, go all the way around. Now, the only thing I haven't attempted yet is to make a mask that's the full web, which that's something I might challenge myself to do next. So now, if we wanted to change some colors, should have gotten that out first, but let's do, what do I got over here? Let's do, pumpkin pie would be the ideal choice. Let's see if I can do this before I move it. We wanted to add just a little color on the outside. Let's do this. All right. Does it move much? Let's see, this is my orange. I like to have different brushes for every color. You don't have to do that. But now, since I'm going to do this on the outside edge, I am going to just tap off a little and start at the Scotch tape again. And let's go around the edge of this with this orange and just see how it looks. Ooh. Ooh. That came out a little iridescent. That's kind of neat. Let's just do full orange. Let's try the other side with just some full orange, and it'll have a little bit of the Orchid Oasis because of the Scotch tape, but that's going to be okay. I think that might add a really neat color to it. Now see if, oops, and I just got that there. So if you see how the Scotch tape still shows some ink, so I'm not even going to ink it up right now. I'm just going to rub this right onto the spider web for some orange. Pumpkin pie, since I've got that excess color, and look, so it's picking up some of that Orchid Oasis as well. Pretty decent looking spider webs. Let's do a little bit more orange. Make sure. Probably best to start with your lighter colors first, but I kind of like the way this is blending. And since I messed up over here, definitely gonna get that blended there. I'm not gonna, I'm just gonna do real dark there on that one. See how that looks out. And there we go. Look at those webs on our paper here. I really like the way that one came out. So we're gonna leave that there, although since I have that orange there, let's put a little bit more on this edge here, just to give it some accent colors. And I think that's gonna be a good set. I think let's just throw a little bit, just because we can put a mask anywhere we want. Pick up some of that on the Scotch tape. Bring in my Orchid Oasis, and then just put this down here on the bottom. Now we've got some really unique looking spider webs for our Halloween paper we're gonna play around with right now. Just making a mess, really. So put that was pumpkin pie and the retired Orchid Oasis. Which I like having those two as Halloween colors. Now, there's lots of different, I don't have any other Halloween stamps at the moment. I do have this one, which it's kind of too much for right here. So let me see which other Halloween stamp sets I have that we can kind of play around with on this. I will return shortly. Please enjoy this little beach break. Yeah. Okay, so here we are back with the little spider webs. So I grabbed an old paper pumpkin stamp set because that was the closest thing I had. A lot of my other Halloween sets are still put away for storage. So I'm just going to do these little spiders, and we're going to do a little bit more blending on the edges, and then we've got our little card, or our 6x6 piece of handmade DSP. So let's see, I'm gonna do the spider in the new color Secret Sea because it's one of my favorites. And I'm just gonna stamp this spider just kind of, just anywhere. Put them on each of the webs. Oops. Fix that there. Creepy crawlies. That. Alright, so now I always rub my photopolymers over an eraser. That helps kind of let the ink not bubble so much, and that's usually these ones. However, this was something I just found. It's a ginormous whoops eraser. It's okay to make mistakes. I like that. So now that is my companion over here to the side, and that's where I like to put a little bit of my stamp. I just kind of tap it to give it a little bit of roughness, and it holds the ink tons better, in my opinion. Now I'm not going to do the spider web in the Secret Sea. Let's go with a new color. How about Cloud Cover? So I have the big one. This one is not available on the stamp pads due to some technical issues with it. So please use your Stampin' Spot that is filled with a refill of the Cloud Cover, because this is not going to work 100%. But I'm just going to start putting this around to try to connect them. Just to kind of move it around. Now the other good color to use if you don't have Cloud Cover would be like a basic gray, or I'm trying to think of another neutral that would work good, but for now I'm just gonna stick this spider web around, trying to have them connect. These ones right here got kind of, put that right there, that works. Trying to connect them. You can use any stamp set that you have that's works for Halloween. Some pumpkins if you want. But since we're doing spiders, we might as well keep with the spider web. Trying to connect these. Not too shabby. Clean that off. I'm just playing, just kind of playing with this. Now this side we can do whatever we want with it too, but I'm just gonna go ahead and focus on this page. Excuse me, because I like that. Can't really put bats in there. We could put some stars, even though it doesn't really need stars. If there's the die cut, that's one of the die cuts that I cut out. I could do trick or treat. Let's put some trick or treat on there. And let's go with, what color do I want to use this time? Of other like Halloween colors, which a green would, so I could use Granny Apple Green. I'm going to use this old one, Parakeet Party, since that also went with the Orchid Oasis. Put trick or treat on my eraser. There we go. Nice Halloween colors. Just put trick down there. Ooh, I really like the way that green looks. I think I might do the stars anyway. No, I don't want to do the spider web with that. Let's just use stars because these are magical spider webs, because they're not as creepy crawly. Go ahead and do this green to kind of accent it a little bit. And I think I want to do some more of these in an orange. So let's get pumpkin pie back out. And do some stars with the orange. All right. Oh, let's get that cleaned up better. My Stampin' scrub. I'm trying to clean these as we go, just because it gets so chaotic and then things get all messed up. So I'm gonna get, I don't want to use Secret C, but I think let's go with the Night of Navy. I don't want to make it too dark. We're just trying to give us some color. All right. I love blending. This is what I do to relax, is just get some stamps out and just make some paper. Nothing and no intentions with it, just to kind of play. I mean, don't have to do anything with this, although I think we should probably do some do a little quick card here. And just tone down that extra white. We could even go ahead and go with the Secret C on the very, very edges. So I don't have a Secret C brush yet, so I'm just gonna find a dark one. Let's see. This is let's just do a little bit on these edges here. What do you think? Fun? Not interesting? regardless, it's fun. Just relax and make a little bit of paper with your masks. So we'll go ahead and get out some paper. Let's use the Night of Navy this time. And you're going to cut your paper, the 8.5 by 11 on the long side at 5.5. And then you're going to score it at 4.25. We're just doing a simple card. See, I put a little marker, so I have the silver Sharpie, and I just wrote, and then because I use this measurement all the time, so I just highlighted the 4.25 so I could easily score there and not ever have to think. It's my board, I can do what I want with it, right? So let's get that here. Now, which part of this, I think I want to use this section here because I really liked this web. So go ahead and trim it down to 4 inches. Now this is, because we're cutting our own DSP, I'm going to go ahead and edge it once I've done cutting it. But this is a nice little, this could even be a good bookmark. And since I like this one here, we're going to cut the top off. You want it to be at 5.25. That's the hardest thing sometimes, is cutting the paper, be it your own or the Stampin' Up! DSP. Get this black one back out again. So we're just going to get these edges there a little bit. All right, so we have our background here. I'm going to take the, let's try just a little, I feel like we need a little strip of the Night of Navy for something around here. But remember, this is just our background. We're just playing. So I'm going to get out, since this is kind of busy, we're going to get the plain striped one. I'll get the Happy Halloween. And we're going to use these 2 die cuts, or just the one. Let's take both of them out. And the banner. Just to demonstrate this nice feature that it fits in the groove, I'm going to pull that one out. We've already used our webs. We're going to leave that together. And this again is the Fright Night stamp set in the current Made in catalog for 2025. I'm forgetting what year it is already. So let's get some basic white. Look at that, scrap piece is perfect. Get out my block. So for this big one, I am using block E, the block E. Now, we did this all in Night of Navy, so I'm thinking Secret Sea, but that might be too dark. Let's just go with the Night of Navy. This is an old one. I have not upgraded. I still had refills from the old Night of Navy. I had bought a whole bunch of those, so it's the old ink pad. I miss these. I like the foam of the new pads, but I do like how much easier those ones were to open. Stuff's getting in the way. All right, put that down. There we go. You can see it's getting a little faded as it is anyway. I think I need to put more water. Now the Happy Halloween, let's put that in the pumpkin pie. Put this way here. And get out the Lani cut and emboss. And pull this off here. So this is the short one. The inner one here, and the banner. So put this down, and let's line it up, and put some washi tape on there. Now, the nice thing about this little piece is it fits right in that area. So we can get that dot there for the ribbon. Moved a little bit. Right there. And all right, so this little one, I'm gonna dirty it up. So I'm just putting it on my shirt and just making it a little less tacky. Because once it goes through these machines, they really want to stick. I don't know if other people have problems with it, but I definitely feel like it sticks way too much. I got that a little close. So I'll cut that on the next one. All right. See how it doesn't really pull the paper up because I dirtied it up. Now we got our hole exactly where it's at the top. Now let's die cut the Happy Halloween. All right, let's check this out. So we've got our little and Happy Halloween. Let's see, I feel like we need the background. I kind of like the background on it, but then I don't. Let's just make this simple. We're just leaving it this. All right, some glue. So I'm going to take a black Copic marker, and just draw along the edges here because I want to have it. It's okay if it's a little uneven because it kind of looks like a worn look anyway. So I just don't want that white border. And I'm just going to draw on the edges. If you have Secret C, I would use the Secret C, or I could use the Night Navy, but. And then if you need to run across the edges, maybe just on the top. There you go. up. Let's do one in the middle. No. Okay, well, I am back. I do not know where my phone died at, so I stopped as soon as I realized. Excuse me. So I put the twine in the top of the hole that we made with that little piece with the die cut. I glued that down, or put that down with dimensionals. And now I am putting the Happy Halloween. This is all again from the Fright Night bundle. I was going to put some black on the edges here. Just a little bit. After I did some of the orange, I'm going to do a little bit more orange. And we are going to pop this up here. Let's put on. Make sure I got the right edge. Only use one dimensional, and then we're going to put some glue here just to keep it down along the little edge. Kind of pop that down there a little. All right. And there's our little simple card, so you can put something else in here if you want. I mean, there is this cool little, cute little ghost. This would be a nice kid card for the kids. So we could do just a little fussy cut. Trick or treat. Nope, too small for that one. Use a paper pumpkin. I have used this ghost really often. One of my favorite little ghosts. We'll do the Secret C. Sometimes I just like to do more than one in case we want another. Let's put him right there. Ooh, super cute. He's so cheery. Should put a little pink on his, I mean, he's a ghost. He doesn't have pink cheeks, but you know, this is card making. We can put whatever we want. And I just feel like he needs a little bit of pink cheeks. Let's do light pink here. Alright, so fussy cut this little guy out. You have to let me know in the comments if you like to fussy cut. I usually do. I do love to be able to die cut, but there's something about fussy cutting. Let's get these little... Now, just like I did the little sign, we could color on the edges to get rid of that, but I'm going to leave that for now. Let's see, do we want to do two? I think we're just going to do one and put a spider in here. Let's pop this guy up. There's also the witch's hat, and there's those cute little guys in the catalog. Let's see. I think they're in here. It might be on Online Exclusive. I think this is also an Online Exclusive now that I think about it. I have to find it on my computer. But there's these cute little dudes with trick-or-treating, and I keep wanting to get one, and I haven't decided yet. Where did my ghosty guy go? Did he get stuck to my magazine? Yep, because I had the dimensionals there. There we go, look at that. Freedom! I think I just want to have that just kind of hanging around. Put a little right there. And get a little edge of a I use all parts of the dimensionals. Let's get this guy a little pop up. Let's see, shall we put him with the ghost up here? I feel like he should go right here. There you go. Little Halloween card made with the Fright Night stamp set, an old paper pumpkin, and the spider webs made with our own handmade web mask. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and shoot me a comment. I'd love to hear what you thought. And if you like this little thrown together, had no plan card, I was just playing. Happy Halloween.